I'm at Sarangkot Hill. So we woke up about 5 a.m. to see the sunrise, and it's so beautiful, overlooking like the whole mountains. So happy to be here. So we waited about 1 hour for the sunrise. Unfortunately, we couldn't see the Annapurna view. But yeah, it's still a beautiful like sunrise. There were not a lot of people, and I would recommend you to bring jacket because it gets very chilly up at the mountain, like the Sarangkot area. So there are a few steps that you will need to actually climb up. And yeah, it's so beautiful up here. So it was quite worth the wait and the wait in the morning. And this is the place where you will actually need to buy a ticket. There will be a ticket person over here that will kind of take the payment. I'm not sure how much was it, but Thupten actually paid for the 3 of us, so that's great. And then we head to the Tibetan village. Right after the Sarangkot view. So we started off by heading to one of the local houses where they actually, the Tibetan refugee actually live there, and we get to try their traditional breakfast. There's the bungee jumping there, and the zip line that takes about 90 seconds from the top. So we're going to have our breakfast now.
If you keep too long, it will burn. So therefore, please, flour, please, it takes longer. Whereas cooking in the oil is much faster.
So the lady was making bak leg, and it's required flour and water. So you have to leave it for about 20 to 30 minutes after you mix the flour and water. And what she's making now is like she kept rolling the flour, and it becomes like a kind of prata looking bread, and it's very easy to make. I haven't made it myself at home, but would love to try it when I'm back in Singapore. So they have this kind of flat pan, almost looks like a pizza pan.
So this is how it's cooked. So it takes time, you see. Flip flour. So, but this bread, most people family make. It's easy, simple. Yeah, now I think almost every family brick tea. Because why? Because the shape looks like a brick. It is a compressed dry leaf and stalk. It's very hard, like a stone. It's compressed.
Dry leaf?
Leaves and stalk. Stalk means the stem. Okay. So I don't know, but which plant, which leaf this tea is made, I have no idea. So-called Tibetan tea, the tea itself grow in China, made in China. Tea does not grow in Tibet. So therefore, many food in Tibet include. So it's like this. So then, when you do this, you have to make sure you know how much to pour. If you pour too much, the tea will all come out. Now mixing. Slowly you mix well.
So it's pretty easy. You just need to mix the flour and butter. It really looks like oats. and this is their kind of like staple food where they used to eat like bigger portion.
So this is a small quantity, okay? Because for you to have just to have a taste. Generally, Tibetan people eat much more than this. You have to add the sugar. Sugar tastes much better. So today, if you like to try with the honey,
Yeah, little bit. Thank you.
now mix well.
And generally you
Yeah.
eat the bucket with butter.
And then with the, you can have whatever you want with the.
So in this village you get to see all the beautiful mountains, you get fresh air, and in this Tibetan village there are over 500 like people living here. It used to be about 300. I hope I'm giving the right information. And the next place that we are visiting will be talking to a real life monk at this monastery place. So if you want to stay here, you can actually also book a hostel or a place to stay here. So we've just finished having our breakfast at the local Tibetan village. Very filling, and now we're gonna sit outside the sun. I think there's a monk that's going to be sharing his life kind of stories with us. So yeah, there's only like another couple that is in the tour group and me myself. So it's quite less and it's very small. So during this session, we get to see a lot of the small kids, very cute, running around, and they are very young monks that the family actually sent them in this monastery. So a lot of them, families actually send them so that they get a better life condition living in the monastery, and by the age of 20 to 30 years old, when they are kind of old enough to make their own decision, that's where they can decide whether they want to continue being a monk or leave the monastery. And during the session, we get to ask a lot of questions in terms of their day-to-day basis, how they what they practice in terms of their philosophy, what do they do on a kind of day-to-day basis, can they actually get out from the monastery. So all these sort of questions during the 1 hour session you can ask the monk itself. So he was actually the manager working in a cafe, but to become a monk in terms of monetary value, it shouldn't be the main motivation. They even have a poster of Dalai Lama. It looks so real, I almost immediately thought Dalai Lama was there.
So in Buddhism, it's very important these two objects. This object represent in English thunderbolt. Thunderbolt represent compassion. Okay, the bell represent wisdom. In Buddhism, very much emphasis compassion, wisdom always must go together. Compassion is live with our heart. Wisdom.
So nearby there are a lot of the Tibetan people actually selling the handmade stuff where you can buy and support the locals. They have a few of the Dalai Lama's kind of history and teaching that is put up in this area. And especially like this carpet area are all like handmade carpets. I wish I could bring it back home. Unfortunately, because I was going on a backpack journey, so I couldn't bring the carpets, and they are all so beautiful. And they have a section where you can see the history of Dalai Lama. This is Dalai Lama's like family, and a lot of all the cute dogs around. Next, we were going to go for the Tibetan doctor to check our pulse. About 500 people.
Now the Tibetan village, as I said, looks empty, quiet. All the young people, our age, are gone. Only the old people live here. Very, very few young people. Most are gone. And childbirth in such village, 500-600 people. One childbirth in 2 years, or in 3 years. In birth in 2 years or 1 year. So in the Tibetan school, about 10% Tibetan children. 90%, all children studying in Tibetan school are from outside.
So the history of all the Tibetan refugee people living in this village is they are not allowed to work like legally. So a lot of them, like I shared before, they actually sell a lot of handmade jewelries, trinkets, carvings and carpets as a form of income so that they can walk around. And within the settlement camps, you will often find much of the same. So unfortunately, they are also not allowed to own their own land or work or claim any kind of state benefit.
So she give the medicine. So all these medicines are made in India, place called Dharamshala. As I said, Dharamshala is the place Dalai Lama lives.
She really wants spicy.
She wants.
Let me try this
This is not spicy.
Oh really?
But we can eat the momo with this.
Yeah, you can just get same.
Thank you.
So it's our tradition either to offer this to welcome or to say goodbye. So this morning too early to give you discount. So I'm now giving you right now. So this tradition came from India.
Okay.
There are inside.
So this was the lunch place. It was really good. And during this day, it was a vegetarian day, so there were no meat, but it was very tasty overall. So it was until like 2:30. It's about 6 hours-ish to 7 hours for the whole like half-day tour. So if you wanna check out the Tibetan village and experience and understand like the story, you can click on the link below and reach out to Thupten. He is really helpful and he's a really great like storyteller. He'll share as much information as he can to you. So I hope you guys like enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to head back to Nepal to create more videos. This is the Tibetan traditional Wednesday dance, if I'm not wrong. Pretty cool, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!